She walked into court believing the only person who would protect her was her own child, 7 years old, small hands, big eyes. The last person anyone expected to change everything, but when he raised his hand to tell the truth, the entire courtroom stopped breathing. I'm bringing you this case on criminal women where I examine the complex psychology behind female perpetrators. If cases like this interest you, subscribe now, because I publish 2 new cases every week. She sits at the defense table, shoulders stiff, eyes fixed straight ahead. She looks exhausted, not just tired, drained, the kind of face you see when someone hasn't slept in days. Her lawyers have told the jury this was a tragic accident, a horrible, fast, unthinkable accident. A mother who worked all night, a backyard pool, a child who slipped under the water in seconds. That is the story she is holding on to. On August 8, 2007, in the tiny town of Esto, Florida, population barely a few hundred people, it was just another hot summer day. The kind of heat that makes the air feel heavy. Amanda Lewis had just come home from a night shift at a nursing home. She was 27 years old, a single mother, tired, overworked, trying to hold her life together. Her 2 children were already awake. 7-year-old Adriana, 6-year-old AJ. They wanted to swim. Amanda said no. She needed sleep. They had plans later. School was coming. Supplies to buy. Normal life things. In the backyard sat a 4-foot-deep above-ground pool. The rules were clear. No swimming without Mom. The ladder was locked away. But sometime that afternoon, everything shifted. AJ ran into the house yelling that his sister was in the pool. Amanda said later she thought Adriana was just near it, not in danger, not drowning. She told AJ to tell her to get out. Then she looked outside. AJ was leaning over the water, reaching down. When Amanda ran out, Adriana was face down in the pool. Amanda pulled her out, tried CPR, called 911 at 2:39 p.m. Her voice on that call sounds panicked, desperate. She says her daughter isn't breathing, says her lips are purple. Water is coming from her nose. Emergency workers arrive quickly. Adriana is airlifted to Bay Medical Hospital. Doctors fight to save her. For a moment, there is a pulse. At 5:05 p.m., Adriana is pronounced dead. The waiting room at the hospital felt colder than it should have. Fluorescent lights humming. Nurses walking quickly past without making eye contact. As Amanda sat there soaked in pool water and shock, repeating the same sentence over and over. She was just playing. She was just playing. Grief can be loud, but sometimes it's strangely quiet, and witnesses later said what stood out wasn't screaming. It was how still she seemed, how blank. At first, authorities call it what Florida sees too often, a tragic drowning. No clear signs of foul play, just heartbreak. But grief doesn't move in straight lines, and neither does truth. Within hours, AJ tells his grandparents something that changes everything. He says it wasn't an accident. He says he saw his mother hold his sister underwater. Imagine hearing that. Your grandson, 6 years old, looking up at you and saying something no one is prepared to hear. His grandparents take him to the police. In a small interview room, AJ describes what he says happened. He talks about his mother being angry, about Adriana spraying something she shouldn't have, about being punished, about being put in the pool. He says he saw his mother's hand over his sister's face. He says she drowned her. The next day, Amanda sits in an interrogation room. Detectives tell her what AJ said. She looks shocked, confused. She says AJ has a big imagination, that he tells stories, that she was inside the house. But now the case is no longer an accident. Investigators get a search warrant. They walk through the home more carefully this time. They notice the children's bedroom smells strongly of urine. The room is almost empty, very few toys, sparse, stark. Amanda says she had taken the toys away as punishment and locked them in the shed. Police check the shed. There are no toys, and it seems small, but small cracks matter. Neighbors would later tell investigators they sometimes heard yelling coming from the house. Nothing specific, nothing you could call the police over, just sharp words on hot afternoons. the kind of tension that lingers behind closed doors. Still, no one reported seeing physical abuse. No prior charges, no documented violence, just stress. And stress alone doesn't prove murder. Then the autopsy results come back. The medical examiner notes bruises on Adriana's forehead and face, bruises that prosecutors will later argue look like they could be consistent with a hand holding her underwater. Amanda takes a polygraph test. She passes. But polygraphs aren't perfect, and prosecutors aren't convinced. In September 2007, Amanda Lewis is arrested and charged with first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. Before the trial begins, more of her life is brought into the light. At 17, Amanda had another child, a baby boy named Alex, who died at 16 months old from what was ruled a seizure. Years later, she joined the military briefly. There were separations, financial struggles, stress. Adriana had been diagnosed with ADHD, behavioral problems, school difficulties. Amanda had taken her to a behavioral center for treatment. Friends and co-workers would later say Amanda sometimes seemed overwhelmed, frustrated. One co-worker testifies that Amanda once said in anger, "I'm going to kill her. I can't take it anymore," referring to Adriana. Was it a figure of speech, a frustrated mother venting, or something darker? By February 2008, the trial begins. The courtroom feels heavy. Prosecutors lay out their case piece by piece. They show the pool measurements, 4 feet deep. Adriana was 47 inches tall. They argue she could have stood up. They present the bruises. They bring in witnesses. But everyone knows the most powerful moment is coming. Ajay takes the stand. He is 7 now, small in the witness chair. The courtroom is quiet in a way that feels almost painful. The prosecutor asks him simple questions first. What is a lie? What is the truth? He answers carefully. He doesn't realize at first that his mother is sitting just a few feet away. When he finally sees her, he breaks down crying. Still, he testifies. Using drawings he made, he points to the pool, to himself, to his sister, and then he points to his mother. "What is she doing?" the prosecutor asks. "Killing my sister," he says. There is no dramatic music, no shouting, just a child's voice. He says he saw her put her hand over Adriana's face in the water. The defense tries to challenge him. They point out inconsistencies. They say his story changed multiple times, that children can be influenced, that he was only 6 when it happened. They question the autopsy. The original medical examiner had been suspended in other cases, his credibility attacked, his notes read by someone else. They point out Florida has one of the highest child drowning rates in the country. They suggest maybe this was just a terrible accident. Amanda takes the stand in her own defense. She says she loved her children, that they were her world, that she tried to save her daughter, that she is strict, yes, but not abusive. She says she grabbed Adriana by the foot and pulled her out, and that the pool didn't collapse, that AJ was never wet because he hadn't gone into the water. She denies killing her child. The jury listens. After 3 days of testimony, they deliberate for about an hour, just 1 hour. They find Amanda Lewis guilty of first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. In March 2008, she is sentenced to life in prison without parole. Years pass. Appeals are filed. Arguments raised about juror issues, about the autopsy, about how AJ was questioned. Supporters claim the investigation was flawed, that evidence was mishandled, that the child's testimony was unreliable. Amanda remains in prison at Homestead Correctional Institution for Women. AJ grows up. He is adopted by another family. As an adult, he says he stands by what he testified to. He becomes a firefighter. He says his childhood was full of trauma. He does not see his mother, and that is where the case still sits. Some people believe the jury got it right, that a frustrated mother snapped, that a little girl paid the price. Others believe doubt remains, that a 7-year-old's words shaped a life sentence, that the investigation left too many questions unanswered. What really happened in that backyard pool on August 8th, 2007? Was it rage? Was it neglect? Was it an accident twisted by grief and suspicion? In that courtroom, Amanda thought her son would be her shield. Instead, he became the center of the storm. And whether you believe him or not, his words changed everything. This case still divides people to this day. Some see justice, others see doubt that never fully disappeared. What do you think really happened in that backyard pool? Let me know your thoughts below. If stories like this stay with you, like the video, share it, and stick around for more.